Oh, you not recovering from that shit. I can't see it. Whatever the fuck they're saying. Shit that don't matter. You tried. It's Monday and I've already smashed your teeth in. I stream too many hours a year ago. It's not gonna work against me. I'm on there a lot more than you are. You can't compete in this space with me. That's the point. I put in too many hours on an annual basis. So try something else. What else you get? I think so. I already did, cause I win yet again. The point is, no one's gonna watch this. Ain't gonna be no comments in the comment section to challenge anything that I've said. Exactly. It's called data entry, stupid. My bad. I meant to get Thorson back on the line for you. It's going to take a second.
So you talk to the open source community. You can go to you can go to the CERT. We talked about the Computer Emergency Response Team to ask them about O-Day attacks. Maybe you have this attack and you can continue to look in your network for other indicators that look like this. In other words, scan for the signature. Even though it's not a normal scan, maybe you can quickly write a signature and scan, or look for that same kind of indicator, that same kind of evidence. And so these are how you deal with an O-Day. And you just be prepared to contain, isolate, remediate. So the problem is that to prevent zero-day attacks means you'd have to write bug-free code, and there is no such thing as bug-free code, okay? That's the bottom line. You'd have to have
your reputation,
competent design, competent coding, competent testing practices. Even when you're very careful, bugs will sneak through.
You already lost, Mo. It doesn't matter.
Any delay in isolating the problem or identifying the vulnerability,
they love touching and abusing children, don't they?
The exploit can just spread. If you're not responding, that exploit
can't get away
is
from
steadily taking over more and more of your network.
Like your commander.
And returning the organization
like you voted
to normal,
for that, right?
You can do this if
just
you
business,
have templates, baselines, orchestration, things in place to take you back, backups, snapshots. So you need all these things in place so you can get back to normal. Have all those things we've been discussing so that you can return them as fast as possible. So you want to keep an update of your broader IT architecture and of your organization to help mitigate the damage.
I don't know what y'all you been seeing, dude.
The threat model,
I don't watch
modeling.
None of this shit with audio.
Figuring out ahead of time how this threat could actually actualize, how it could actually come about and truly happen. And usually the way we threat model is we talk about an end undesirable result. The data was stolen. And then we work backwards. Okay, what would it take to steal the data? I mean, what's the next immediate step? Well, we would actually need to breach the file system or breach the application. Okay, then what would it take to do that? Okay, you would need to have access, remote access or local access to the machine. What would it take to do that? You would need to know somebody's username and password and the IP address of the machine. Okay, what would it take to do that? So you work your way backward from an end undesirable result with backwards the steps. And then you look at each of these steps and go, how do we remediate, how do we mitigate and remediate and protect against this step, this step, this step? That is threat modeling. Figuring out how could the end hack happen and work backwards.
Oh my gosh.
Put in controls
this
at
was
every step of the
2018.
way. And it's going to be like all of
this was 8 years ago.
Possibilities will lead up to this one undesirable thing. So it's a procedure for optimizing your network security. You identify vulnerabilities. You define countermeasures, but you do it by working backwards to show how the result was achieved. And you have a bunch of people. You put on a piece of paper or some collaboration whiteboard or something, and you all work together. Gives you a bird's eye view.
I know we're gonna have weeks of this shit.
To compromise. Stream
after stream after stream.
Starting from I fished somebody's email or username and password out of them, or bribed them with a chocolate bar or something, up to I then did a low-level compromise, up to I escalated privilege, up to I pivoted, up to I got to the database server, up to, and so that every step of the way you're putting in mitigations, controls. So it helps us identify key areas to implement mitigation. So like
plop rock through the ceiling and bust your head open.
What is our susceptibility to zero-day exploits? How could we gather information about
Life ain't
this?
fair, right?
How could we, since it's 0 day, there's no signature for this. How can we deal with this? Well, the first thing is recognize that it happened. That would be the first thing. The second thing would be, once it's happened, what are any other incidents of that thing that around? You know, do we have other things that have the same issue? From there, we can contain those. And since there is no automated signature for this yet, we can go to the search and just say, can you guys help us with this? Let's talk about researching the security implications of emerging business tools. You know, those evolving social media platforms. Whew, oh my goodness, that's a whole topic in itself for security, because mostly users are leaking information out with the social media platforms. We need to use layered protection. DLP will help you. Lots of user education and some policies. That's really the bottom line of protecting with social media. And that includes DMZs if possible. That may or may not help. It's the DLP, the data leak prevention. That will help you a whole bunch.
I needed a victim. It's you. It is your purpose. Oh my gosh, dog. Work. You can cry all you want, cuz. When I put that shit up about 57% of y'all being child predators. I know. Wait till I use your guy doing blackface to like really put the nail in the coffin. It's like that child predator. He's so ashamed of being white, he's gotta pretend to be a nigger. Right? Something like that. Good gracious, he's a race traitor. That is. Exactly. Huh? PewDiePie cameo. That's what PewDiePie said. It's not a quote for me, it's PewDiePie. He said, geez, what a fucking nigger. That's what PewDiePie said, not me. PewDiePie said it. He said, oh jeez, look at that ghoul. Good Lord and Savior PewDiePie. He said, oh jeez. You did it to yourself, Mo. This is just business. You know I don't respect you. Nah, it's about my money, nigga. Period. That's it. Those aren't my words, cut. That's what the Justice Department said about you. I told you what to do. You chose not to do. I told you release the alien shit, or here we go. And what did you do? Whatever the fuck you wanted to. Not what we told you to do. You did what you wanted, not what I told you. See, I gotta pay the price. Well, not to pay the price, more. Your little buddy at Doge or whatever the fuck it's called. I know a short apprentice in BC. And this is you too, huh? You ain't special around here. Neither is he. Well, now that we can see your hand, we can see all the cards in your hand, nigga. You couldn't follow simple orders.
It doesn't help you when someone's using this, sitting at lunch outside at a coffee shop, keeping up with your customers and leaking information that way. But if it's, at least if it's originating in your company, the DLP solution will help you loads. So anyway, you just need to keep up to date, have policies for social media usage, and the big thing is training, and surprise training, and scenario-based training, and war games, and all these things, so that users are able to see every sign and possibility and catch themselves before they accidentally inadvertently disclose something.
Because I could do all this shit.
This has been identified as the four
people
top
shit up, whatever,
expected social media
control
threats
media,
for 2019 for
mind wash, brain control, whatever.
We have basically fraudulent customer care responses on social media. So in other words, this is Microsoft and we owe you some money. Okay. Or we're phishing unsuspecting customers of their usernames and passwords. Domain fraud. We're spoofing known domains. So like you spell Google with 3 O's, or you spell Google with a 1 instead of an L. That's, people don't see it when they're, just glancing at something. They misread it. It's a very common thing, domain spoofing. So we use it to phish unsuspecting customers. Compliance-related social account sprawl. I'm using a Microsoft
here to
account
take
for all
everything
sorts of
from
things,
you.
including private and public stuff and corporate stuff. And so I've totally blurred the line between private accounts and public accounts and corporate accounts. So you just need to supervise that. And you could put in place, we've talked about those CAS brokers that control, they sort of implement policy as a man in the middle between your private network and the cloud. So there are some technical solutions. Doesn't help you at all when someone's using this away from the workplace. And just trying to keep your people, your executives, the whales and the spearfishies from being targeted. Just keep an eye on them, really educate them on the risk and how to use social media safely. Those are the risks. Integration of everything within the business. So we integrate new tools. It makes business more effective, more responsive, faster, competitive edge, all that. Of course, it brings all these technical challenges. The fact that we are living in an always-on, always-connected world where people don't even pay attention to the fact that they're being recorded. Your every move is being recorded. We've just kind of blanked that out. That's a challenge technically and from a security perspective. And so really educating people, and whenever you can implement technology, do it, but educate users as much as you can. So when we decide to use a new technology, a new business tool, or any new tool, we really need to try to do as much of a full risk assessment as we can. We need to have policies in place to protect the organization and all the assets with security awareness training. And here's the key. The security personnel has got to be given time and resource to actually check this technology out before we go and buy it. Because you don't want to just go, let's buy it real quick, let's deploy it, implement it, and now you've got this IT team scrambling to patch all these holes. Holes that they just go, if only we had known it at the time. So it's hard to do with new technology.
I can't read that shit.
You need to, realizing that as an IT person, you're probably going to lose that battle, just have a remediation and recovery plan in place. Big data. This is a term that describes big data, a large volume of data. But what that means is data that is not in traditional databases. It's unstructured. It is stored in a totally different way. So like Hadoop, cloud, any of those cloud analytics, they're all big data. They're not stored in traditional SQL-type relational databases. They can be queried differently. They can have all these disparate sources come together. We don't even know yet the security implications of any of this. We don't know. We frankly don't know the security implications of big data, cloud data,
that's what you want.
AI, Internet of Things. We're moving into all sorts of uncharted territory. And I don't have an answer to give you right now because nobody knows. We're starting to see little things, but we don't yet know everything. Soon is that the always connectedness of it increases the risk of exploitation and data exfiltration. It increases the exposure of users to social engineering, dramatically increases it. It increases the exposure of our data to being intercepted and manipulated. We make those assumptions, especially since a lot of it is moved to the cloud and we don't have direct control over it. So specialized applications have been designed to help us deal with big data. But, so an example of big data is actually all Google searching.
Got other shit to do, G.
When you post your reviews on Amazon,
when the meal's over,
that's big
you're
data.
getting your play back.
Facebook is big data. Anything that is not stored in nice, neat little structured databases anymore, but it's stored in a more unstructured way. And actually, they have sort of non-relational tables. It's way down the scope of this class to get into, but it's just stored a different way. When you post a review on Amazon, you are adding to the big data amount. So again, we have vulnerabilities that we don't even know yet. We don't know what we don't know, not yet. All sorts of opportunities for backdoors, a much broader attack surface. Attacks by users. We may not be able to monitor and audit all of it. We can't, as a matter of fact. And you have developers not validating input. So the security risks of big data, they are complex, they are evolving, they will be multi-layer, multi-level.
For 5 years I've listened to this every day.
It will contain some of the
like music. Music to my ears.
It will generate a high-risk asset. And so there's a whole challenge that you need to stay tuned to, because I don't have very many pointers besides what I've already said.
This is the final little module on this.
As we expect, unauthorized access, privilege escalation, lack of visibility. It's hard to tell what's going on across the data. Use centralized identity management. And do as much access control, privilege management, and user-level auditing as you can.
Thanks, Blackface.
AI machine learning. This is running analytics on big data so that we can see bigger trends. You know, it's like the 5 billion case studies and one cancer diagnosis.
Pretend if you want.
So artificial intelligence is running algorithms to try to mine that data into something that's useful. And so AI without machine learning is possible, but it requires building millions of lines of code. What you're doing is you're teaching programs to teach themselves. Do you see dystopian sci-fi
yeah, here we are.
Maybe. Yes, it's possible. So we have these ideas of deep learning, decision tree learning, inductive logic programming, clustering, reinforcement learning, Bayesian networks. These are all ways of machines teaching themselves to crunch all this data to something usable for humans. AI and the Internet of Things have a relationship with our human brain and our body. And so we can only hope that it is benign and useful. Even if AI and big data themselves are just tools, there will always be malicious actors, people who want to use it for very malicious purpose. Like breaking into big companies, breaking into election systems, breaking into power systems and utility systems, and breaking into critical infrastructure and nuclear power plants and all of that. So we need to make sure that we defend as much as possible. So our security concerns, that attackers will eventually learn to use AI as a tool, that AI can be weaponized, and it's already being weaponized, but weaponized against us in particular, the network you're trying to protect. AI progress may increase the likelihood of, is increasing the likelihood of cyber attacks using machine learning capabilities. Just as we can use AI to look for threats and to look for attacks, others will use AI to create those attacks. There are collaborative projects to research AI capabilities and vulnerabilities. They are right here. You might want to be looking at some of them. There's an AI application created by Carnegie Mellon called Mayhem. It is used to find bugs and determine if your AI implementation is exploitable and then try to fix itself. So let's talk about the global IA, or information assurance community. You have the Computer Emergency Response Team, CERT. They are your friends. They're a community made up of a diverse group of people, and they provide guidance on information security. They are part of the Software Engineering Institute of Carnegie Mellon University. They investigate security vulnerabilities. They have emergency response teams that will provide assistance to organizations 24/7. So if you are the victim of an O-Day, call them. There's also the U.S. Computer Emergency